welcome back to the Matter of Text Podcast. 1:30 in the afternoon on a Saturday. Here
Day
at
two.
Prepper Camp still. Day 2, Saturday. Thank you, Andrew, for keeping me straight. So, Jeff is here with us. He's been out here with his Prepper Camp a good handful of times.
I think this is my third year.
I think third sounds about right, yeah. So, our previous guest, this is their first time to Prepper Camp.
Yep.
This is your third year, so I guess the appropriate place to start is like, if you can remember back to the first time you came here, what was your initial impression of the event, the vibe, the classes? Like, what was your feeling? Obviously, you liked it. You should keep coming back.
Yeah. No, it's a lot of the classes are kind of base level classes, but as you kind of as you get your first couple classes under your first year under your belt. Well, your first year, it's either you're starting learning or you know some of it, and you get a few add-ons to your basic concepts. And then as you come back, you add classes you didn't get, or because every year there's a few new classes. And then you'll take the new classes, add on to your what you know, kind of pick and choose what you're doing, take classes that were offered the year before that you didn't get to, see if there's any updates, blah, 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 blah. But after about halfway through your second time, you end up, you're more talking to the people and networking, seeing who's came down from your area. Like me and Uncle Red, we're next door to this year. We're both in Minnesota. I met him the first year I was here. So, and we've been here every year. So, at this point, it's mostly networking. Year two and a half, 3 is mostly networking and picking up classes you didn't get to this year.
So have there been any classes offered this year that weren't on the docket for last year that kind of piqued your interest?
I was going to hit up e-bikes, and
So that's scooting around the e-bikes.
Oh yeah, I'm super excited about e-bikes now. I was looking at them, but I never tried one out.
Now you're hooked, huh?
Now I'm hooked. I've definitely invested in one of those. And artificial intelligence is what I got to hit up this later tonight, for sure.
Yeah.
I think Sam Culpepper's area intelligence, and I hit up this morning.
That's a good class.
I missed that yesterday because I was just getting into town. So.
Yeah. So, I mean, what about, I think one of the things I've always commented about Prepper Camp, and I'm always curious to know if everybody else felt it too, but like, the thing I appreciate the most about this is that there's not a lot of gatekeeping. You know, like the subject matter experts that are out here, as much information as they can shove into a 45 minutes to an hour class, they're shoving in. And it doesn't feel like an infomercial. It really feels like you just walked up to a friend of yours and said, hey, tell me about this, and they brain dumped on you. And then if you catch most of these people out here in the vendors area, like my wife had this experience last year with, I don't know the poor guy's name, I call him Mushroom Guy, because everybody knows who I'm talking about when I say the Mushroom Guy. But like she talked her ear off for 45 minutes after class about mushrooms. And I love that, but I'm always curious if like that's the experience everybody else gets.
I would assume so. It's actually, I would say it's the opposite of gatekeeping. It's harder to stay out of the gate than it is to stop at the gate. They're just dragging you through. As soon as you're through, as soon as they let you through, the door's wide open. They'll answer any questions you ask. So.
It's almost more like if you're walking through the vendors area and you want to get someplace quickly, you just keep your eyes straight forward. Because if you make contact with somebody, that's it. The conversation has been open. You're not going anywhere.
Yeah, you get caught. I mean, I don't know how many times. I mean, especially after like, our first year we made friends. Second year we made friends. And this is 5th, 6th year going to this, and it's crazy because if you're heading to a class or if you're heading to a class, you gotta keep on that timetable. But you're walking down the alleyway here, the vendors, and it's like, oh man, this guy I haven't seen him in a while, and you stop and talk to him, and next thing you know, it's 45 minutes later, and then you're like, okay, well I gotta catch a class, and it's either A, over, or B, it's like, okay, I gotta go do something else. And then you walk down and someone else grabs you. I don't know. It's just after it's fun. I mean, you and I, Phil, we talked about how this has become more of a networking event for us. And not so much. I mean, it's a vacation, but yet it's still almost work with the podcast and stuff like that. But it's fun. Like, and that's the thing. That's why it's like I think we keep coming back because it's fun. And it's not, and it doesn't feel like work, you know. And it doesn't feel like we're doing it for the podcast, but and you know, I don't know. It just so it's great to keep coming back. It's awesome to see these people that we see once a year. We might talk to them and text them every once in a while, but you see them once a year, so it's almost hey, I haven't seen them in a year. Still catch up.
Yeah, sometimes this just popped up. It also refers back to variations on year after year last year she taught hide tanning, or not hide tanning, but hide processing. This year she brought some hides with her, and she gave people the opportunity to flesh them out over at the class site. And either she would finish over here, or we'd come over and try it if you didn't want to try it in front of the class. And I was bugging these two yesterday for a while because I was waiting for her to get back so I could try them. Taking the epidermis off.
Yeah. And speaking of where we're at, I mean, I do have to say, I owe Rick and Jane a personal thank you for putting us 2 booths down on pork chops. Right. Because I'm going to go home smelling like sausage, pork, and barbecue. And there's no way to avoid it this way. I'm not mad about that, but I might get physically assaulted when I walk in front.
Well, the problem is all my clothes are going to smell like that, so I got to drive for 12 hours and be smelling barbecue for 12 hours on the way home. I'll be hungry the entire way.
Or you give yourself a nice little case of the meat sweat before you leave, and you won't want to get for a while.
That is enough.
Yeah, I need enough meat. I need enough red meat and pork to threaten my life, please.
Right.
I think they would oblige you.
I think they would.
There's a good chance I might have the same plan come tomorrow. So.
Right. So what did you have, being this is, what you say, your third year?
Third year.
Third year coming here. What, did you have any plan, like, you just come here and see what happens, or did you have any classes in mind that you wanted to take, like you really want to jump into, or you were just like, nah, okay.
Like I said earlier, there's a lot of, I usually just check out what the class schedule is, look for new ones that interest me. It's mostly just what is my point of interest. Like every year is a little different. Like last year I was focusing on more, I'd say, tactical. And then I hit up a few of those classes, a few more of those classes. This year was more skills based.
I know that if I remember right, the first year you came here, you leaned really heavily into like the beekeeping and the blacksmithing.
Yep.
I don't like to use the word more primitive, but like more, I guess.
That was another skill set.
The ancestral arm of where prepper came from. Yeah. And like, I think that's what I find so interesting is that like no matter what you're interested in, whether it changes from year to year or that's just your lane, you can find it. So now here's the question.
I didn't know that.
What could be done to make this event better? Because I asked our last guest the same thing, I stumped one of them. So now it's going to have to be a thing. Like what class could be brought in? What could it be reformatted? Like if you had Rick Austin sitting here in the chair next to me.
Let me think on that one quick. Because
this is a good question.
Yeah, it's a really difficult question sometimes because you want to weigh the two sides of this. Because personally, I would like some more advanced classes, but at the same time, you think about that and go, well, a lot of new people come to this event, so you're almost taking away from the newer people on what they have available because they don't have all the options of classes.
Yeah, and I mean, just for a lot of people, if this is their first exposure to prepping, like, this is already drinking from the fire.
Yes. This is, I'd say it's simultaneously one of the best and worst because ways to start. Best because you have all the information in one spot. The worst is because you have all the information in one spot over 3 days.
Yeah, I mean, since I've gotten to bomb everybody else in this question, I've had time to think about it. I think if I had like a wish list, I almost wish there was time blocked out. I almost wish there was like a time block in the afternoon, like 1 hour where there were no classes. And in that time block, you had an opportunity for some of these instructors to do a deeper dive or do a hands-on or a workshop, something where people actually got their hands dirty and got to work on it individually in a way that is not available to them in the classrooms. But that way, if you have a person who they want the information but they're not ready to dive in face first, they don't have to. But you would have to structure it in such a way that from Friday through Sunday, each vendor had or each expert had an open opportunity to have one of those 1 hour time blocks. But even then, if it's just a 1 hour time block, I mean, there's a reason why there's so many tents around here and they run the same schedule over 8 hours. There's a ton of SMEs out here. And I don't know how you could make it where I don't know how you would make a situation where you have this advanced class you really want to take, but at the same time, this other advanced class you really want to take.
Well, but then the other thing though too is, you could do something like that, but like we've said before, we have a lady that does hide processing. She currently has somebody that is working, that she's kind of going through and doing it. So they're getting hands-on. They're actually doing that more advanced. I mean, we have down the way a little bit. We have a one for personal or cyber protection. I think it's cell phone. Basically, we have all these cell phones that are connected on how to jailbreak or whatever. I can't exactly remember what the class is over, but they're right now. They have a bunch of people sitting in front of their tent. They're going over kind of a more advanced lecture, stuff like that. So that's happening around.
Just in a less formalized.
And then just a less formalized.
I was gonna say a lot of these, like Sam over there after his area study style class, he openly said, if you got questions, meet me at my tent.
Yep.
And you could it almost becomes a secondary class. And I think we're almost running into a space and time availability issue at this point.
I mean, and that's a good point, because in my head I was thinking to myself, maybe the thing is to have that subject matter expert post something at their tent in a scheduled time block so people know about it in advance. But then you think about it, we couldn't have 30, 40 people lined up right here trying to watch us do something. I mean, it's just not space. I think you're right. I mean, I think as much as I always look to improve something, because that's just my personality, and it's never this sucks, let's fix it. It's more of if we spin the dial a little bit right, a little bit left, do we get better results? And I can't help myself to twist the dial, but I think Jane and Rick might have stumbled into about the perfect formula for this, because the feedback we got from the couple that was here a minute ago was the vibe here is different. It's relaxed, it's open, it's family oriented. There's people from all walks of life, from all different perspectives out here, all enjoying this together. There was no being standoff. It's just this very relaxed atmosphere.
It's friendly too. You can walk up to really any of these people, and I mean, I just walked up to them, hey, how you doing? How's your class going? Stuff like that. And I mean, we talked for 40 minutes or something like that. So it's it's easy to do.
Mm-hmm. It's easy to get sucked into.
Yeah. And I don't know if there's even a way. Like I said, I think it's a time and space issue at this point, where you just don't have extra.
Well,
so fitting anymore.
So with what you've learned this weekend, are you how are you gonna apply it moving forward in your preps?
I don't know if there's much I'm gonna change about my preps, because a lot of the things that I did learn were ideas I sort of formed as I was doing, but I didn't have a factual answer to the question.
Okay. So you got so you got some of your answers.
I got some of the answers that I didn't have questions for.
Yeah, kind of like you already stumbled into some of what your plan was, but now you have kind of the formalized training to back that up to say, okay, I was on the right path because this seems to be the way.
Yeah, and I do got to couch that in the fact that while I have been coming to prepper camp for 3 years, I've been prepping since 2012.
Yeah.
So I've been doing the prepper thing for a while before this even became a thing for me.
Yeah. And what I was saying earlier, I want to throw in here just for general conversation, but like this has been the thing I noticed when we first started coming to prepper camp. It tended to be people that have been prepping longer than they've been coming to prepper camp. They were coming here for more knowledge, different knowledge. They were coming for networking, coming for the community. And it seems like it's only been in the last 2 or 3 years I've seen the number of people who were very obviously longtime preppers being heavily outnumbered by the people that were brand new to this. Now, the old school preppers are still here; they're not leaving. But it's been interesting to see that demographic shift over time.
Oh, it's the demographic shift that's noticeable.
Yeah, and it's encouraging to me because, like I've always said, if we're stuck talking to each other about tinfoil hats and stuff, we're not making any progress. We got to expand the community. We got to get more people involved in this and interested in it so that it propagates. We got to get more people to teach their kids about this stuff, or this whole way of thinking is going to die with us. And it's been interesting to see, like, how do I say prepping is a stereotype when it is a stereotype? I mean, I'm sitting here with a beard halfway down my chest, bald-headed white guy combat vet. Like, I am the prepper stereotype to some people. But I see people here dressed nice, wearing pearls, wearing slacks and flats. I see people here with nose rings and neck tattoos. And, like, there are people here that shrug off that prepper or gun guy stereotype. So, I mean, hell, look at the way you're dressed. No offense.
It's just a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've seen darn near every style, darn near everyone. I've seen a doubling in kids, much less other demographics.
Yeah. So, is there anything else to chuck in here before we wrap this one up? I mean,
I don't think we got any much more on prepper camp per se.
so then here's a question to kind of round this out. Where do you see prepping going? Like prepping as the community, the lifestyle, the mindset. It's been kind of through its phases where it was heavily invested in homesteading and heavily invested in tactical and gun stuff. Where does prepping go in the future?
I think prepping is gonna continue to normalize.
Just become more mainstream.
Just become more mainstream, and it's gonna be one type of prepper, are you, based on where we live. It's gonna be more common than it is uncommon at the rate I'm seeing things happen.
I'll put that in the wish box.
Yeah.
Wishes are wishes, and I see a lot of increase in, like we said, different demographics prepping. So you don't see there's a lot of people I've met that when they just find out I'm a prepper, they mention that they also prep, but they're mostly just closet preppers in groups of people you would never expect to see it. So I think it's going to be more closet prepping.
People are going to be coming out more, like saying, they're going to be coming out saying, or accepting that, hey, I'm into this lifestyle, I'm into this preparedness lifestyle, I'm into the self-sufficiency, stuff like that. So I think maybe you'll start, and I guess I can see where you're coming from, and I can kind of agree with
yeah,
this.
maybe I defined it incorrectly. Prepping isn't preppers aren't going to go mainstream, but prepping is going to.
Right. So that's the biggest thing is you don't want to sit there and rat out and tell everybody, oh, hey, I'm a prepper, I got this, I have 2 years of food or whatever it is. Like you don't want to sit there and run out and tell everybody because your neighbors and all that stuff. It's like, but at the same time, being, if you can sit there and be like, yeah, I'm self-sufficient. Like I have a chest full. Like I don't buy store-bought meat. I don't do this, and this. Like, and then explain to people, this is how I do it. This is why I do it. I think that why is getting stronger, and it's going to get more relevant and stuff. And I mean, especially with everything coming up and just the way food is going right now, prices. I think you're going to start seeing more and more people investing, maybe hopefully, in directly from the farm, looking up a local farmer in their area and saying, okay, I got these two other neighbor households, and we're going to go on a beat together on a full cow. Okay, well, let's go in and let's do it. Okay, so the hog and all this other stuff. So if you can't afford to, especially have cattle or animals on your property, or you don't have the space, well, what can you do more than that? Well, get 3-4 friends and hey, let's go in on a hog or on a cow.
What are the big movements right now, even if we don't look at prepping? Big movements right now are people moving out of cities into suburbs. I'm seeing a hell of a lot more gardens. And I'm seeing a buy local becoming mainstream culture. And I don't know if we would file, I would argue that almost files under right next door to prepping, if nothing else.
I would agree with that, and I think also part of what's happening with that is like you see, because of some things that have happened the last few years. I personally, in my community, I've been seeing this huge push, and my wife and I have been really pushing for it about get to the farmers markets, go farm to table, get away from the industrial food supply, get away from big pharma, start paying really close attention to what you're putting into your body, and find ways to short-circuit the need for daily medications to preserve your life, when what you need to do is put the fork down and move around a little more and like manage your body through your lifestyle. And I've seen that big push, and there are people I know that are into that would never, they would giggle if you called them a prepper. But then you meet preppers who, that's part of their motivation is, you know what, the industrial food supply is unstable, it is going to crash, the food is crap, there's no nutrients in it. I need to go farm to table so I can eat healthy. What I see from prepping is I see all these different perspectives and all of these different lifestyles and personalities, but they're all going to a singular point.
Yeah.
They're all moving to the point of, this is modern society, and while some parts of it have been amazing, some parts of it suck. And we have got to change where we're going if we're going to have a better life. And I see prep and survivalism saying, modern convenience has made us soft and weak and we're not able to deal with adversity, I need to prep. I see the crunchy hippies, the granola eaters saying, the industrial food supply sucks, I want to go farm to table. I see the people who are worried about like the economy, the national economy, the international economy, saying, hey, I need to buy local, we need to develop our local economy so that we are more robust if the national economy goes through a serious trouble. I need to buy local. And everybody's moving in towards that same central point of reestablish the community, rebuild the community, make the community more resilient, and make the community the central point of our society, not the internet, the Facebook, the Instagram, the TikTok, and all this.
Yeah, it's going back from online is how we do everything to online as a tool.
Yeah, which is what I've always wanted this podcast to be. I don't want this podcast. I mean, Andrew and I have talked over the years about like what is this podcast to us, and like I am very firm about the fact that I will never allow this podcast to be a focal point of my life. It is a tool to be used. It is something to spread a message, something to spread information, something to help knit people together and make friends and build that community up. But my want is for people to watch this content, listen to this content, and then unplug from this. Take this new perspective, take this new information to your family, your friends, your community, and build that community. Because if the flag goes up right now, Phil on the other side of the internet is not going to be able to help you much except to say good luck. So you have to take from this like a supply drawer, and then go and spend those supplies building up your own community. So if that is where prepping is going, if that's where all these communities are going, is this whole idea of like reject modernity, embrace tradition, touch grass, get out in the sunshine, build your community, harden it, and train yourself so that you can withstand whatever's coming. That's where this whole mindset's going, and I'm all about it. Let's go. Key ignition, pedal down.
Yeah, let's go.
Yep.
I agree.
I guess we'll go ahead and wrap this one up. Jeff, I appreciate you coming in and showing your ugly mug to everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, you're certainly
Got to scare a few children somewhere along.
Well, if I haven't scared them off yet, I mean, you're not going to do any worse than me. But definitely, thanks for coming on. Thanks for talking to the listeners about your perspective. For those of you who've heard the previous Prepper Camp episodes, guys, like Jeff has been on the mic with us around the fireside chats, but this is the first time on the stream, so thanks for coming on.
On that subject, is Double D going to be there later so I can get up the spit take again? Ed.
No, I'll tell you soon.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, stretch a little bit.
Matter of Facts podcast heading out. Bye, guys.